Hey y'all, welcome in or welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about all the things that I've wanted to buy over the past few months, but haven't. I recently asked what videos you want to see on my channel, and this was one of the videos that somebody mentioned. And I was already kind of thinking about it because we're nearing the half year mark, and I had so much I wanted to say. So this was the perfect time to introduce the content. Now, this video is not intended to be a de-influencing style of video. If for whatever reason you've kind of wanted things like me and I do talk you out of it, I think that's a great thing. But some of this stuff I've decided to go other routes, and I think that's also kind of cool or interesting to hear people's thought processes behind why they choose to not buy stuff. Also, before we jump into it, I want to say a couple of things. One, I would love it if you would subscribe. We are nearing the end of Everyday May, but that doesn't mean the good content is going to stop. We are going to continue with conscious consumer content, critiquing influencer culture, TikTok online behavior. We have some fun videos coming your way in June. There's some that I wanted to make part of Everyday May, but they just need a little bit more time and attention. They're coming, and I hope you'll stick around for that. So the first category on deck are clothes, and a lot of what's in this video is kind of recency bias. Like there's more stuff from the last 2 months than the first 2 months of the year. So I discovered a brand recently called Mirror and Grand from New York. And from what I've been able to tell from them, at least with their t-shirts, they like print their own t-shirts. And it's their t-shirts and then their sweatshirts that they had me by a chokehold. Not their sweatshirts. Their sweatshirts are super cute too. But they're like really kind of floofy cardigans. I'm going to have to put the one I really like, the cardigan. But there's also this like Italian summer kind of graphic tee. Just steals my heart. I am such a sucker for the graphic tee. I love them. I love graphic tees so much with the passion. I only have 2 that are in heavy rotation right now, and I've just been kind of thinking about the graphic tees because I pulled them out I think maybe 2 months ago or a month ago to bring into my spring rotation, and one of them the graphics are really heavily peeling, and I don't like that. And I was thinking maybe graphic tees like these ones would be better options in the future because they're like woven into the fabric opposed to something being printed on top that could like peel. So that just kind of seemed like a more sustainable option to me. And I wanted to buy this t-shirt so badly, but I reminded myself of 2 things. One, this is a t-shirt for maybe in the future, like when these graphic tees that I have are not in good enough condition anymore. I can't in good conscience bring in more t-shirts. I have so many t-shirts. And even though a lot of them serve specific purposes, like this t-shirt I'm wearing today is like a slouchier, baggier, cropped graphic tee. Let me show you. I typically only wear this t-shirt with shorts or kind of tighter fitting bottoms or overalls. I don't typically wear it with jeans like this, but I was, looking for a little bit of something different in a video, so I put it on. I just have too many t-shirts. I have too many t-shirts. I can acknowledge that. I don't need to bring in more, even if I don't own a lot of graphic tees at the moment. So in my mind, I'm making these sneaky little connections like, you don't have a lot of graphic tees, you only have 2. This can fit into your wardrobe. When really, that's just my mind telling me that I want to buy new things simply because they're cute. Yes, I am allowed to buy things because they're cute, but like that can't be the case majority of the time. And if we have reasonable reasons not to buy them, like that has to weigh out for me over something just being cute. I also wasn't prepared to hand over one of my 6 spaces in my wardrobe to this item. I just wasn't because, and this is how I knew that I just wanted to buy something, because I was like, Jenna, do you want to spend like one of your one of your 6 items. I do want to give that up for this. And I was like, no, because I want to save that space for something that like might be a real wardrobe gap or something that, just is special in the future. That really kind of showcased that I just wanted this thing. The cardigan, I just think is something that's so cute. Hi, Editing Shauna here. So I was sourcing the images for this video and I was taking a look at this sweater again and something wasn't sitting right with me. So I image searched it and it appears to be this item from AliExpress. Like, it's unclear. Like, to me, it appears to not be like an original design and something that is actually mass produced. And one of the things that was making me sus is this price tag, and then the fact that it comes in 2 sizes. And so I was wondering, did I hallucinate and think that maybe did I hallucinate this, like we make our own stuff? It says here, we take pride in handmade specialty items, including Muir and Grant exclusively designed apparel, jewelry, sunglasses, and bags. This is vague. This whole thing is vague. Like, to me, I assumed that this meant everything, but now I don't really know what's what. And I don't love this. Like, I don't want to dog on a small independently owned brand, but we're also like implying handmade to the whole website. I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Okay, we're going to move on to province of Canada. These guys are like the other end of the spectrum. They are so like, they do a lot of basics, and I love their t-shirts because they have this like basic silhouette of t-shirt in all the colors and like really cute colors too. There's a t-shirt from Everlane that I really like. This summer isn't going to be the end of it most likely, but its days are numbered. And I didn't want to go and rebuy this from Everlane, and so I saw that province of Canada had a t-shirt in a very similar colorway. And to me, this kind of colorways I don't see around a lot, even though it's kind of basic. But they have like this really cute pink color and other basic t-shirt colors. And I stumbled onto the t-shirts because I thought that I needed to replace a bunch from T-shirt Gate back in March, but I ended up not needing to replace the t-shirts. So I didn't buy these t-shirts. But what this led me to was finding the sustainable brand that I can shop from in the future if I like need a basic. I obviously don't at this point, and I especially don't need t-shirts after everything I just talked about, but I really enjoy kind of having this resource at my disposal, which sometimes just knowing I know where to get something is just like a bit comforting. And I also really like these guys because their stuff is all like made in Canada, and they're like really attempting to be sustainable and ethical in their production of things. And they also do like 0 waste shipping. A lot of like the bags that they'll send their garments in are biodegradable. Like, they're just a brand that's really trying to do good stuff. And I think like Everlane is a big greenwashy, which is why I'm fine buying Everlane secondhand, but firsthand, I'm just a bit wary of. They also have this super cute freaking quarter zip. Quarter zips are my favorite types of sweatshirts. I love them. And they have this pink one. And I got sucked into the aesthetics, okay? My little minimalist heart went, that is so cute, in that freaking millennial pink color. And I ultimately went, listen, I have my own pink quarter zip. This is a functional dupe. You want this because it's a slightly different color of pink and you're just obsessed with the pink. We don't need it. We don't. Also, the next couple of fashion items are going to be really, hopefully, rapid fire. I wanted white Mary Janes from Zara. I talked about these in a video from March. And the desire to buy these is fully gone because now we're in hot summer weather. And I could not fathom wearing this kind of shoe in this kind of weather. I'm like, sandal girl. Like, we're going to be wearing the sandal now. The time of this kind of shoe is, or when I could wear this shoe, like the window is so nearly closing. And also, I did think that I could probably wear it more in the summer, but then like that was my thought. It would be good for spring and summer. But now that I'm in the weather that I would qualify as summer, even if the weather goes back to more cooler temperatures, which it probably will later in the week. And it made me really realize, like, when would I wear this? Because I wouldn't wear it during the day when it gets super hot. So I would wear it at night. And then is this really the shoe I'd wear at night? No, I would prefer the sandal at night. So this is more of like a casual day shoe or dressing up kind of a casual outfit, but it's kind of daytime only, and that window is even narrower. Yes, I had considered reasons not to buy this item, but giving myself time to be like, let me make a choice in the season, helped me think about more seasonal factors. And that's kind of something that I would advocate for you as well. Sometimes we want to buy stuff before the season. Like we want to buy shorts before summer comes around, even if we feel like we need to replace them or like there's an actual need in our wardrobes, or we want to buy something like buy more t-shirts or tank tops before the season rolls around. And quite often, by the time the season rolls around, I'll typically have learned something about one of the purchases that I had been thinking about, or I'll have more nuance to it, or I'll realize how impractical something is by like making that choice when we're actually in the season. The last thing before we move on to other categories like some beauty and stuff are these glasses. They are FL41 glasses. Now, in a video I posted in early May, I was talking about how I feel like glasses are so often a scam. Not the lenses, but the frames. And so many of you mentioned that you shop at Zennies. So I went to go look around and I saw that they have FL41 migraine glasses. FL41 is a like pinkish hued tint that can be applied to lenses, like with or without a prescription. And there's mild evidence, relatively minor evidence that this helps with migraines. And the reasons why people say this helps with migraines is that, or I should say that it helps with photosensitivity that triggers migraines, or that can come along with migraines, and it can ease migraines in that way. I am very sensitive to light, and I thought until about the last 6 months that I thought that my sensitivity was once I was in a migraine, then I was sensitive to light. I didn't realize that light triggers migraines. And I learned this recently. And I also realized that like when the weather changed in spring and we were having longer days and sunnier days because our winter was quite dark this year, I felt that like as that was happening, I was getting more headaches, and not quite migraines, but more headaches because of this change. And now those have kind of stopped because I'm more sensitized. But if I go run outside on a really bright day without sunglasses, it like 80% of the time can trigger a migraine. So I was very tempted by these glasses, and I kind of came across them at the very tail end of that period of that kind of light weather change. And I was dealing with like really severe headaches, not quite migraines at this time. And so I was so tempted by them. So I went to go look at the science behind it. And I had looked at the science behind the blue blockers, which there's not like much evidence for. But here there's actually some evidence for them. And then I've also seen like ophthalmologists and optometrists recommending them to patients. But I just like, I don't really know. To me, even if they're real, they feel a little scammy. I just like part of me wanted to buy them because I was in a vulnerable position, right? Like I'll do anything to not feel this way, but I just don't know. Like the science is just not all that convincing to me. And a lot of these videos from like ophthalmologists have been sponsored, or they're using a product with a link, even if they're not sponsored. Like, oh, there's this really popular brand. I think they start with an A, like Axiom or something like that. I'm just skeptical. So this one might be like, maybe I'll try it eventually, maybe, but I can't in good conscience do it now. All right, there was a bunch of Sephora stuff that I wanted, and I really wanted a mauve blush. What I realized is that a lot of my blush that I had purchased with the attempt of it being a neutral blush is actually much more on the warm tone spectrum than I had realized. There's a Tarte Party blush, also this Rare Beauty blush, and I think at least one more I either like purchased or received with this expectation that it would be neutral, but that Tarte Party blush is really warm. The Selena Gomez blush, I think that one is like nearly neutral as well. I think that's the one I have. Much more warm tone than cool tone. And I just personally felt this gap of a cool tone blush in my collection because I do like cool tone eyeshadows, and having this kind of lack of blush has limited me in wearing that makeup. And so I was looking for something very cool tone. And I put a bunch in my cart and left them there. And I was like, I'll revisit this in a week. If I still kind of feel it, then I'll come back. I ultimately didn't go through with any of those purchases. I was looking at one from Clinique, and there was one or two other ones in my cart at that time because I have a Pat McGrath blush that is a cool tone blush. And even though it's not perfect, it's cool enough that like it works. Like, it's fine. I also have I also have a Nude Sticks blush that is cool, but it's more pink than mauve. And what I was realizing was that yes, neither of these things is really the perfect blush, and the one that I want does kind of fit a need, but I have way too much blush to justify bringing in something, most especially because something isn't perfect enough. And I think that this purchase for me would have potentially fallen into In Search of the Perfect X, and I have two perfectly usable, perfectly good blushes that work. And when I'm wearing them on my face, when I match them with cool tone eyes, I don't look at myself in the mirror and go, you know what? Like, this just doesn't look right. I don't think that. When I'm applying it, I realize this isn't the perfect option, but it's still usable. And what's going to happen if I bring in one of these mauve blushes is I'm going to use it. These two are going to fall by the wayside. The cream blush is going to expire because this one is slightly more what I'm looking for. The best option, in my opinion, is to just use what I have. And guess what? It's perfectly fine. I think a part of me also doesn't like the fact that I don't have as much choice with cool tone blushes as I do with warm tone blushes, which just bothers me. And it's like, this is a place of privilege right now to have all of these options regardless. Like, we're going to be grateful that we have these in our collection, and we're going to enjoy using them. And that really went a long way. I also added a Tower 28 lip gloss and a setting spray to my basket because I was like, oh, I had a makeup incident where I was wearing a foundation during a day that I didn't expect to be as hot as it was. So it like melted off my face like this. And I was like, I need a setting spray. I immediately added the Urban Decay setting spray to my cart. Just went. Once I, had some consideration, I realized that we don't actually know if my makeup is going to melt off my face because I wouldn't be wearing this foundation in weather like this. This is not like the test of the makeup. And once I put on the foundation that I would more likely wear, I wore it actually yesterday and the day before in 30-degree weather, and I was largely fine. Yes, my skin does get oilier in the deeper we get into summer, but we're not going to preemptively start buying stuff when we haven't, like, we're not in the conditions. Kind of what I was saying earlier. Once you're in the conditions and you're trying things in the real life situations and scenarios, like, you learn stuff. And I, as of right now, don't need a setting spray. So we're fine. If there comes a time where I'm like, you know what, I think a setting spray would make a difference, then we can assess our options and not just put one without thinking into our cart. There's already better ways to go about doing this. I also wanted a Tower 28 lip gloss, and this is something that I actually think I might in fact do later down the line, because I have been a lip gloss girly, and although my preferences have changed and I am wearing it less, I do miss this kind of glossy gloss, and I really like this formula. I currently have 2 lip glosses. They're both Maybelline. One was decluttered to me back in December. The other one is older, that I bought in 2022, I think. No, maybe 2021. Yeah, I think 2021. So I'm working on finishing those up. And if I buy a Tower 28 lip gloss, then at this moment, then I'm not going to use those. And I most especially want to get that the older one out, because it's like 3 years old at this point. And it would make more sense for me to buy this later in the summer. Also, maybe either when I'm going into a Sephora store, so I don't have to ship a single lip gloss to my home, or if there are other things I want to buy. So this one I think is probably going to come, but maybe in a couple of months. And this will give me extra incentive to finish my Maybelline lip gloss that's like in my project pan. I was also very tempted by some Paula's Choice sunscreens. And this is kind of an interesting one, because I went to the Paula's Choice website with the intention of buying that BHA, their exfoliant. I had just finished mine, so I was out of it, and I'm like, now is the time to buy it. With this kind of product, I'm okay to have finished it and then buy something, because I don't use this every day. And if it doesn't come for like 2 or 3 weeks, it's totally fine. However, I found a mini in my like skincare drawer. It was like hiding at the back, and I pulled it out and I'm using it, so I don't need it yet. But what that kind of prompted was looking for other things to buy to bump up my cart order so I could get free shipping. Paula's Choice regularly has sales, like there's regularly 20% off. And I had put some sunscreen into the cart because they offer minis for a lot of their sunscreens. And I was actually actively looking for sunscreens because I wanted sunscreens with a higher than SPF 30. And I also wanted chemical sunscreens. And there's one from Paula's Choice, and I remember using it a couple years ago that I really liked. So I went in and added them to the cart. And then when I looked at the cart, I realized that majority of their sunscreens are actually SPF 30 and not SPF 35 or higher. So they didn't even really meet the criteria that I was looking for. Before hopping onto this website, I wasn't actually considering buying sunscreens from Paula's Choice. I was considering sunscreens, but Paula's Choice didn't really even enter into that conversation into my own brain. And the only reason why I was entertaining these sunscreens was because I was already on this website. If I were to buy them, I would be buying sunscreens that didn't check off one of the basic boxes that I had. So it was already a bad buy. And then I realized that I was doing it to increase my cart spend. And if I had a choice in buying sunscreens, it wouldn't be these ones. There would be other ones that I'd be more interested in trying. Here's kind of the irony of the situation is that I wanted to buy on Paula's Choice so I could get the discount of 20% or more. So then I have to spend more money to meet the $50 threshold to then get the free shipping, when I could spend whatever it costs at Sephora, not have to buy more things I don't want or need. Problem solved. The next thing is the last thing, and these are some more sunscreens. I have been flying through sunscreens, and I am kind of close to finishing 2 of my 3. The third one, we are just going to be like putting under the sink until next kind of fall, winter, because it's too thick. Sorry, microphone. It's too thick to wear in the heat and the humidity. I wore it out for a run and I felt it and I was sweating and it was was a bad time. So I'm like, all right, maybe if it's cooler, I'll leave it out for now. But once we get into like mid-June, then that's going to go under the sink. And I need to ostensibly find replacements for these sunscreens that are almost finished. One is going to finish more quickly than the other one. So if I run out of one, like we're not in trouble yet. But I was looking for replacements. And this Paul's Choice thing happened in March. So I've been thinking about sunscreens for 2 months. And at that time, I wasn't anywhere near finishing a sunscreen, like maybe 50% of the way through one of them, probably not even. So now that I'm fairly close to finishing one, I'm like, all right, I would like to buy a new one to replace this with. And so I went through the K-beauty route, and I was looking at Yes Style and then Stylovana for selling sunscreens. And I was really interested in trying the Beauty of Joseon one. There's also an iUnique one. I looked at reviews, and I also watched people with the same skin type as me. And on top of that, there was a while where I had more in my cart. I had like 5 sunscreens because I was like trying to narrow it down. I do think I'm going to buy at least one of these sunscreens, if not both. And I'm just waiting for me to finish a little bit more before buying them. And then I was also contemplating other things. I'm about to finish my Faded serum, and that one's $50. And there was one that I saw. I'm going to have to put the picture up because people were I was seeing comparisons between the two, and this one is like 50% cheaper. It's roughly half price. And there are good reviews. It seems like something that I would like. Seems like it's kind of in the ballpark. So I'm also waiting to finish that product before kind of throwing this in the mix. And then I'm almost out of my moisturizer. So there's a couple of things that would make sense to buy that I'm almost out of and don't have replacements for. We just need to they need to marinate in my cart, but I need to finish what I have first because I know that I'm going to be so excited to try these products. If I get them now, I'm going to just stop using the other stuff that's almost done. And I don't want that to happen. I think this is just a good reminder to enjoy the process of finishing up what we have before buying new stuff, where that stuff could get like kicked to the back of the cupboard and never finish. Okay, actually the real last thing is a bunch of stationery stuff. I was really interested in getting these 5-pack samplers where you get like on a piece of cardboard and there'll be like 5 different ones, and I think they're about 1 meter that you get. And I really wanted one of these, but I soon realized that many of these stores, they're just like mystery bundles, or like you have to get this preset bundle, and I didn't like all 5 washi tapes enough. And then I also stumbled across people where like you could just get individual samples, and then I could kind of create my own little mystery bundle, and I don't have to get 5. But many of these places that did these little samples just had these, like all of these printed ones, and I just wanted basic colors, and I was having a hard time finding a shop where I could buy more than one sample from and that had basic colors. So then that's when I went to the washi tape route. I got into this whole like reseller thing on Etsy, and I was so disheartened to see that all of these brands were just like Temu products or private labeled products that are also sold on Temu. Like maybe not private labeled, but like the drop shipped kind of stuff, the stuff from like AliExpress and Alibaba that like anybody buys and they mark it up and sell it to different retailers. I was really disheartened to see that was happening with many of these products. I was still like hooked on this idea of like washi tape and stickers, and I was like, maybe I could find still something on Etsy that I could buy, or maybe I'll go to like my local Michael's and buy something. But then I sat down and thought about it. I was like, Shauna, how do you actually plan to use washi tape in your bullet journal? Tell me. And I realized that I didn't really know, like I didn't really have plans for washi tape, and I couldn't really imagine using it. Like the only way I could imagine would be like a couple of strips layered at the top and bottom. I'm like, can I only think about one way to use it? And then I realized I would have to research alternative ways to decorate my bullet journal with washi tape. And sure, that's not a big effort. And maybe like I did actually find a video from Jashi Koren herself, who, by the way, if there are any planner people here, Miss Thing herself commented on my planner video. She liked my video. And I was like, thank you, Joshi. That means a lot. Okay. I had to say that because I freaked out. And I called her like the queen of Bujo to my partner, and I was telling him about it. And I was like, I don't know if that's totally fair to Amanda Rach Lee, but like maybe they're both queens of Bujos. I feel like there's many room for like multiple queens of bullet journaling. So she's one of them in my opinion. I found videos on how to use it, and then I was like, this is becoming a project. Like I've already forgotten all the ways that she mentioned to use washi tape in her video. This is like in my mind becoming a bit of an art project. I don't want to have to do research every time I want to use my bullet journal. So all of this stuff is like kind of useless because I already have stickers I'm trying to finish up that like I don't really like, and if I buy new ones that I like more, of course I'm going to use them, and then the whole intention of using up these stickers I don't really like is going to go down the drain. Then I'm going to buy washi tape that I don't really know how to use, don't want to spend the time researching. We're fine. We are absolutely fine. And all of this happened at least 30 days ago, and now I'm 30 days out, and I'm like, yeah, my bullet journal, she's thriving. She's, like we're having a grand old time, and I don't anymore. So that's everything for me today. That's the video. I'd love to hear stuff that you talked yourself out of buying. What didn't you buy that maybe you were super interested, passionate about, but changed your mind on? Love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon.